Welcome back, drawing buddies. This week we're gonna draw Daredevil, the man without fear, from pencils to inks to colors. So if that sounds like a fun way to spend 22 minutes, then let's draw. Daredevil's first appearance was in Daredevil #1 in 1964. Daredevil was supposed to be released in 1963 as a companion comic to the X-Men, because the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man were so popular. Stan Lee had the brilliant idea to launch another single character and another team book. The team book would be the X-Men, and the single character book would be Daredevil, and they were both supposed to come out in 1963. Problem was, Bill Everett, the guy drawing Daredevil, was a little slow, and he was way behind on his deadline. And so Stan, in a panic, said, damn, I got to get a book out because we can't lose our publishing spot, because if we don't print and we don't release, then we lose that spot on the newsstands, and then we're really screwed, and it'll take a long time to get that spot back. In fact, that might even have still been the time when DC was actually putting the Marvel books on the newsstands. I don't know, I'd have to look that up, but that's for another video. But anyway, so in a panic, Stan said, all right, Jack Kirby, Jack the King, he could draw a book in like 10 hours if he had to. That's an exaggeration. But, you know, he was really fast. And he's like, if we take characters we already have, I could just throw together a quick book, and bam, out the door, new title, we don't lose our spot, life is good. So Stan came up with the idea for the Avengers. And then he gave it to Jack, and Jack drew it in like, I don't know, probably a week or two, who knows, but it didn't take him long. And then it hit the shelves. Bill Everett, they kept him on Daredevil because he was already well into it. And he didn't get the book out until 1964. I don't remember exactly how late he was with as far as months go, but it was pretty bad. And then I believe in Daredevil #5, they replaced him with Wally Wood, who's one of my favorite Silver Age, actually one of my favorite just comic artists, period. He doesn't get enough love. If you guys want to check out an awesome comic artist and somebody who actually contributed a lot to the industry and really got no credit and died broken alone, Wally Wood is your man. I'm sorry if I'm repeating a bunch of stuff, because this is technically the third time I'm drawing Daredevil for the channel, mostly because he is my favorite Marvel character. And second, because, you know, I figured the show, and I was going to put this out earlier, but, you know, then I realized the Supergirl movie's coming out. So I did the Lobo, Superman, and Supergirl drawings and put Daredevil towards the back burner. And I also wanted to finish watching Season 2 before I put this video out, Season 2 of Born Again. And I didn't get to it, so I'm just kind of going with all my usual old school Daredevil knowledge, but since I don't get a ton of views on these long videos anyway, anybody new who watches this, hopefully you'll appreciate my old school comic knowledge and not be too worried about the fact that I don't talk about anything past 2000-ish. So, oops. And another thing, when I initially finished this drawing, I didn't love it. I'm like, maybe I'll just do the Supergirl stuff, and then I'll come back to Daredevil and I'll redraw him and do a whole new one. But then after I finished the Lobo, Superman, and the Supergirl, I went back and I looked at Daredevil. I'm like, oh, actually, he's pretty cool. I like him. He's a little stiff, but, you know, he's still a pretty cool drawing, and he meshes well with his background. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. Plus, you know, maybe I'll draw another Daredevil in 6 months to a year or so. Who knows? He might be a recurring theme on this channel until I get one that I absolutely love. Also, while I am editing the video and watching back, I'm like, you know, I kind of like the arm that's up in the air. I kind of like it down. Maybe I should have left that alone too. Especially because when I flipped it up, I kind of didn't like the hand that's on him with it being up in the air like that, so I redraw the hand. And when I redraw the hand, I'm kind of trying to get it done, and I'm at the end of the penciling drawing stage, and I realize, like, almost when I'm done coloring it, that the thumb was on the wrong side of the hand, so I put a a left hand on the right or a right hand on the right. And I'm like, oh, jeez, rookie mistake. And that was the main thing that I wasn't liking about the drawing, was because that thumb just made everything look really, really weird. So the lesson out there for all you people watching is that pay attention when you're drawing hands and stuff, and make sure you put the fingers on the right part of the hand. You know, put the right hand on the right and the left hand on the left, and not vice versa, because you'll be looking at it and you'll be like, something is wrong with this drawing and I don't know what it is, and it's driving me crazy. And then either you'll look like an idiot when you publish it with the wrong hand, and you're like, oh, and somebody points it out to you, or you catch it really late in the drawing, and by then you change about 50 other things because you just weren't sure what was wrong with it, and that drives you crazy. But yeah, so that's my tales of woe when it comes to Daredevil here. And if I do draw him again, I will either put him in the yellow and red costume, or yellow and black, however you want to look at it. But I say red because I'm pretty sure they colored the highlights red, and it was just kind of how they used to do Spider-Man in the first, I don't know, 50 issues or so. It was black with blue highlights, and people just assumed it was blue. And then I think when John Romita, oh, hold on, the pencils are done, it is now time to ink Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. So yeah, if you look at the really early issues of Spider-Man, his suit looks like it's mostly black with blue highlights. And I don't think anybody really knew what it was when they were reading the comic at the time. But John Romita, I believe when he took over, he started making it all blue with very few black boxes to hide it in. So I don't know what Steve Ditko's intentions were, if he meant that it was blue or if it was black. But once John Romita got the job, he definitely made sure we knew that Spider-Man's costume was blue and red. And same thing with Daredevil. They drew the black part of his suit with red highlights. So I'm assuming they just meant it was red, but you know, it was just easier to spot in all the black for some reason than it was to draw all the musculature and stuff. And so that's what Bill Everett was doing. And then when Wally Wood took over in issue 5, the first thing he did was he changed the the single D on Daredevil's chest to the double Ds we know and love now, but he kept the costume colors, the yellow and the black, or the yellow and the red. And then in issue 7, he gave us the red suit, the Daredevil suit we all know and love today. They're pretty much all red. I mean, they've done a few variations on it since then, and there was that dark time in the 90s when, was it Scott McDaniel, I think, was drawing Daredevil, and they put him in the black armor suit with all the shoulder pads and stuff. Although that suit's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I can't badmouth it, because I was heavy into reading comics when that run came out. And like I said, Daredevil was my guy, and before that you had the John, well, actually you had some in-betweeners, but before that was the John Romita and Ann Nocenti run, which is my favorite Daredevil run. It's just old school, well, I guess it would be modern age. I don't know if that would be Bronze Age or not, because I know modern age has been going on forever now, and they need a new age for comics. But yeah, like the Romita run, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. The Silver Surfer shows up, first appearance of Blackheart, first appearance of Typhoid Mary. There is a run of that where he kind of gets all depressed and decides to leave New York City and goes hoboing it throughout the country, kind of like Joel said he was going to do in Pulp Fiction when Vega told him he'd be a bum then. So Daredevil went out and did that whole thing. He did the kung fu and traveled the country helping people. And he ended up in the woods somewhere in some state, I don't remember what state, and he was with Gorgon of the Inhumans, and Gorgon's power is he could sense the weakness in something. And while they were in the woods somewhere in God knows what state, Ultron shows up, like actual Ultron shows up, and Daredevil ends up fighting Ultron in a forest somewhere. And Gorgon starts calling out the weaknesses in Ultron's adamantium basically ectoskeleton. And Daredevil starts hitting him in these places with a stick, not even his billy club. And he beats Ultron. He takes Ultron's head off and he stops him. So every time I see Ultron as a big bad or a universal threat, I just kind of laugh a little because I remember the Daredevil story where Daredevil beats him up with a stick. That was a great run. And I think I mentioned this in the Chibi Daredevil or the first Daredevil video. They did a Fall of the Mutants tie-ins when they started doing big X-Men events and events that took like a whole 6 months or so, or a summer event, and went through all these different books. And Daredevil, when he finally gets back to New York City is in the mists of Inferno, not Fall of the Mutants. It's in the Inferno storyline where basically Mr. Sinister and Madeline Pryor bring hell to Earth, and the X-Men gotta stop that. And Daredevil just wants to freaking chill out and relax because he's just traveling the country, losing his mind. And he's just walking the streets, and like a mailbox attacks him because it comes alive, and he's punching a mailbox, and then a bus is trying to eat the people who are trying to take the bus, so he gets on the bus and he beats up the demon bus, and it's hilarious. And all he wants to do is go stop at a local pub and have a beer because he's exhausted and he wants to relax. You know, he's got his arms all taped up, not because it looks cool like I thought it did here when Ron Garney did this to him in the his other Black Suit run, which I started to read, then I fell off because I'm terrible at sticking with comics these days. And you know, he's bandaged up, he's bleeding, he's beat up, and he just wants to chill, have a beer. And basically, New York is going to hell, and demons are popping out of the sewers at him. It's crazy. And see, I go through all the trouble to ink this hand, and I decide to get rid of it because I figure since the arm is up in the air like that, you would see the bottom of the palm. You wouldn't be dipping it forward like that to hold the billy club because he'd have no leverage to swing. And these are things you should think about when you're drawing something, you know. Is his arm doing the right thing for the situation? Is his hand in the right position for the situation? It might look good enough and be cool, but it also might not work with what he's doing. So see, here's where I decided I'm going to redraw this hand I just spent all that time inking. And there I am putting the thumb on the wrong side because I'm a dumb guy. And, oops. So don't be me, people. Because I'm like, why is this hand? I drew this hand really well. I like it. It's angled nice. It's got the thing. Why does it look so weird? And I really don't think I realized it until I'm coloring that it's on the wrong side of his freaking body. It's the wrong hand. I put the thumb on the wrong side. So I think once I get to the end of the coloring stage, I literally have him flattened so that I was going to do those filters that I use every now and then to make it look like an old photograph and stuff. And I had them all flattened and I was putting the green around them. I'm like, it's the hand that's driving me crazy. That's why I hate this. So I have to cut the hand off. I have to fill in all the colors. I have to change. It was a nightmare, but I got it done, and that's the important part. And the other part is I probably should have changed the direction of his arm too. Like I should have had the continuing line on the outside and the cut line on the inside, if that makes any sense. But that I never fix. But I think it works good enough. And also, when I inked Daredevil, I thought it would go really quick because I went with all the black in the middle and I cut everything else nice and chunky. But no, the inking is the longest part of this drawing. And I think it's mostly because I throw all these little lines in and stuff. It's not as extreme as what I do on the turtles, but they're still there, and they do take time to do. Speaking of turtles, Leonardo is penciled and inked. He is fighting me. Not that he's hard to draw. I figured out his pose and everything like pretty quickly and had it all going. Sorry, I just cracked my knuckle there if you heard that. But I don't know. For some reason, just getting to him and drawing him has been a chore. Just for some reason, I've just been super busy lately. So I think tonight after I finish this voiceover, or tomorrow during the day, I'm going to try to get Leo colored. Okay, the inks are done. It is now time to color Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. So I'm going to try to get Leo colored either tomorrow during the day or tonight, depending how tired I am after I'm done with this voiceover, because today was a bebe day, so I had to watch the Bugaboo. So, yeah, but I got him inked, I got him penciled, he fits in well with the other turtles, I lined up all the buildings and the inks, so it is one inked drawing. And I am very happy with it. And I'm excited to actually finish it and get the video done so that 30 of you could watch it and be like, ah, pretty cool. But yeah, but it's going to be a cool poster, so once I finish the colors, I can take it down to my local print shop, and I'm going to print out some 18 by 24 inch posters of it to bring to Terrificon with me. They're having a lot of turtle guest voiceover turtle voice actors and some actors, I think, from the movies and stuff. So people always look for turtle stuff there anyway, and this year probably more so. So hopefully some people will get a couple of those, have them signed by some cool guests and bring it back to the table and show me, because that's awesome. I would love to see that. I also might make myself one poster that's 36 by 48, but finding a frame for that's going to be a pain. I'll either have to make it or have it custom framed, which gets expensive. I did find one on Amazon, but I think they custom make them in sizes, and it was like $150, but it might be worth it, because this may seem weird, but in all my years of drawing, I think this Turtles is the most complicated pinup I've ever done. I mean, I've done drawings with big building backgrounds and it took forever to do and all that kind of stuff, but I never did one that was interconnecting 4 separate drawings that had to work as one drawing and also had to work as a complete drawing and can also work as sections, like a vertical section or a horizontal section. So I could break this thing up into, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, into at least 4 different styles of posters with 2 turtles on them. And then the 4 separate turtles, that's 8. And then the giant one, that's 9. I don't think I'm going to get that crazy with it, but it's cool to think that I could. And so, yeah, you guys will see that next week. And it'll be a longer video too. It won't be a 20-minute one. It'll probably be a 40-minute to an hour deal, which is kind of weird because I did not have to draw nearly as much buildings on Leonardo as I had to do on the other turtles. Well, Michelangelo probably had less because he has a big window behind him. But Leo just has a continuation of the buildings behind him. So I think the most complicated one was Raphael, because Raphael I had to refigure out all the perspective to line up to make the 4 drawings, and that was a real pain in the butt. And then I had to continue the buildings and everything from the Donatello drawing, which I just drew as Donatello and thought of the whole group shot thing later. So that was a real pain matching all that up. But after that, the rest was fairly simple because I knew what the top looked like, so I just had to draw down on the buildings and add in the turtles. And I probably should be talking more about Daredevil than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But they are related because the ooze that created the turtles, you know, the little turtles in the sewers, they got hit with radioactive ooze and they became the turtles we know and love, and Splinter became the big turtle that we know and love. Here I am flipping the hand when I finally realized that I'm an idiot and I drew the hand backwards. Stupid me. But that is the same bottle of ooze that blinded Matt Murdock. The truck came screaming down. It swerved to try not to hit an old man, and Matt jumped and pushed the old man out of the way, and the canister of chemicals hit Matt in the face and blinded him. And then that canister rolled and fell into the sewer and irradiated a bunch of little baby turtles. And those baby turtles and the rat that was with them ended up becoming the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Splinter. So there you go. Eastman and Lard were huge Frank Miller, and they were huge Daredevil fans. So that's why that happened. On Daredevil here, I also decided to go with a background similar to the spider people that I've been drawing. You know, with the big text and flying out at you, because I just like that design element, and it's going to be my thing for a while till I get bored of it. I did use a different font on Daredevil, though. So you could at least give me credit for being slightly original on him. I actually, this Stupendous Man drawing from not that long ago, the buildings that I used in the background for him, I originally drew for this Daredevil drawing. I tried something different with some brushes that I bought that have like automatically make windows and stuff. And it was pretty cool. Definitely is not my style of building. It's more like a flat animated style, at least the way I did those, because if you watch the tutorials and those brushes, they do some amazing things. I just haven't had time to sit down and figure it all out that well. But yeah, so I drew those for Daredevil, and then I'm like, nah, I kind of want to do this text thing. So I put those in my background folder, and I used them for Stupendous Man. And I'm going to do another Calvin. I'm going to do Tracer Bullet soon, so that's going to be exciting. But yeah, I'm just finishing up the little things here in Daredevil, figuring out what color I want his dots to be that separate him from the background. And I also had to change the dots a little bit because when I flipped his hand around, it screwed everything up. So I had to add new ones to his Billy Club line because I didn't add them to his Billy Club line. And I also put the dot texture over Daredevil, and you have to adjust that in certain places. But with that, Daredevil is done. So thank you all for stopping by. Like, subscribe, comment, do all those things that make YouTube think that people actually watch my videos and make them want to click. I hope you all have a great week and a great 4th of July. That's coming up. And go out and draw something.